Welcome to another episode of Northern Ruckus. It's me, TJ, your host, and
Big Jimbo
Big Jimbo
in the house. You already know what's going on, man.
Yeah. So let's just get right into it. Last weekend, Super Bowl. I don't really care for the game itself because
It was scripted.
NFL scripted. So like, I want to talk about is a halftime show with Rihanna.
Okay.
What do you think about it? Give me your initial thoughts.
Honestly, it was very demonic.
You thought it was? See, like that's what I wanted to get at because like so many people are saying it was demonic, this, that. I thought personally it was like one of the most conservative-esque type performances that we've seen in mainstream media in a very long time.
I don't know. I can't speak on that because I don't watch that stuff too much. But I love Riri. She's dope. Yeah, she's dope. But I don't know. Just like even like her wearing the red and then everyone else wearing the white kind of lab coat things. It reminded me a lot of like COVID or something like that.
What?
I don't know.
How do you get that relation? The way I saw it was like she's the only person to not strip down to like a two-piece type shit. Like, you know what I mean? She had that big old.
Because she's pregnant.
Yeah, she's pregnant. You can say that too, but it's like every dancer around her has some big old jacket on, like very clothed. But then people are saying it's demonic because it's red.
She definitely had on more clothes than Sam Smith.
So are you saying that you shouldn't be allowed to wear red now? Like
no, but like I don't know. Like I already said this last time, where it's just like, man, like you know, if everyone's wearing the devil's colors, it's like no one wants to wear purple. Like,
like no one wants to wear blue. You never see blue.
Yeah, like you know.
Another thing that I took in from the whole performance too, I thought it was like a huge tribute. Maybe I was just looking into it, but a huge tribute to like Kanye West, right? So you got like the red jacket that looks kind of like the Yeezy jacket. You have all the backup dancers wearing similar like Yeezy glasses. And then you also have the floating stages from like Life of Pablo tour, right?
I don't know. I wouldn't say that, but I feel like Kanye, his presence was definitely, it was in the air and missed at the same time. Like for sure, everyone's thought was like, oh, Kanye should have definitely been here for this. Like that would have been sick.
For like all the lights part?
Yeah, for all the lights and shit like that, right?
I don't know, but like think about it. Like the whole Kanye red jacket was very synonymous. Like the
he got that from Michael Jackson though.
Oh no, but I'm saying like the puffiness, like the design of it, right? So it's like obviously Yeezy has this look that everybody first season says, what the fuck is that? That shit's ugly. Like you have like the foam runners. Everybody thought those are ugly. Now they're like kind of whatever. Dad shoes with all the Yeezys. They're just like ugly, but now they're all regular. Those glasses, the same ones that like people keep thinking like Kanye is a trendsetter in fashion, right?
Yeah,
so it's
100%.
like people keep on going at it, and I feel like Rihanna incorporated a lot of that stuff into her halftime performance, even to the point where she has floating stages like how Kanye did with the Life of Pablo tour that would go over the whole crowd the whole time.
I mean, shit, she probably did. It probably was inspired.
Maybe I was looking into it too far, but yeah, I thought that was interesting.
No, you're right. Nothing new under the sun. Like it probably is inspired. It might even be some of the same people who worked on both projects.
Mm-hmm. Did you see that what Adidas was saying? How Adidas came out this week and was like, They believe that Kanye lost them $1.3 billion in revenue.
They lost themselves.
Bro, that's crazy.
Wait, how could they blame Kanye if they fired him and then they're losing money? I don't get it.
Like they fired him because they were quote unquote forced to, right? Like that's what they now apparently. This is all skeptical, but apparently they're trying to offer him a new deal. They're trying to get Kanye back on Adidas. I don't know if you ever would. I don't know if this is necessarily true. But like I was online and like that's what the people are saying. Like Adidas is trying to re-sign Yeezy because the Yeezy
I'll say
brand,
this: he would take Kim Kardashian back right now. He would probably take Adidas back right now too. He would probably take them both back with open arms.
Yeah, because I was even talking to my brother about it this week. It's like, yo, Adidas doesn't really. If we talk about American culture, Adidas doesn't really have like any American public figures behind them necessarily.
They used to Run DMC.
Yeah, but
that was big. That was big for Adidas. That's like a staple in hip hop. Adidas is a big part of that,
and that's kind of what Kanye was doing on a way bigger scale. But then now, like, let's even talk about like because
I'll say this though, Adidas was always very recognizable because the three stripes. Kanye wasn't really like adopting that.
Yeah,
like, the three stripes. Yeah, it didn't look like Adidas shit. It just looked like Kanye shit under Adidas,
which is pretty cool because like even if you think of Jordans, like not all Jordans, like obviously like 11s and 4s and stuff, they don't have the Nike logo either. So it's like
only the ones do.
Only the ones do. Yeah, see, so it's kind of like that. It's like, yeah, they're Nikes, but they're not. They're Jordans, right?
Yeah,
so, like,
it was a lot like that.
But like I was saying, even when we talk about like basketball, right? Basketball, football, more cultural who ran sports, right? Like they move the culture. Can you name any basketball players with Adidas brands? Maybe they don't have a signature shoes, but like an Adidas athlete.
It's like James Harden.
Derrick
Rose.
Yeah.
T-Mac was Adidas for a long time.
Was he?
Yeah.
T-Mac had fire kicks back in the day.
Yeah, some of the best Adidas that ever came out. Damian Lillard is Adidas.
Dame Dollar. But like, do you see anybody rocking those shoes?
No,
And
no,
that's
not
like
at
the
all.
weirdest
Not at
thing,
all.
right? Like obviously, like,
I think it's weird too. Like sometimes I think these companies like it's so weird, bro. Like they like especially a big company like Adidas, they have so much money. You know, they're putting so much money into marketing and all that, and it's like you said, no one's wearing those. It's so weird. So you know, someone in an office somewhere is getting paid $1 million a year to call the shots for this company. They're doing their job terribly, but they're just oblivious to reality, and like they're just so cushioned and insulated by like this huge corporation that's so successful that they don't even realize how bad they are at their job.
no, for sure, because it's like marketing. What you were saying is like the biggest part of a brand moving forward, and it's like you'll never see an ad for like Yeezys. You'll never see an ad for Jordans. Like those things are moved.
You see Jordan ads
I'm where
like in magazines and stuff.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. I guess you'll never see like a commercial on the Super Bowl halftime show for
No,
it.
not
Or,
that
like,
big. They don't need to go all out like that. But it's just like what Lamborghini said. They said, well, it actually doesn't really apply at all. But I always like that Lamborghini said, we don't do commercials because our customers aren't watching commercials.
well, like Tesla says that too. Elon Musk says I am marketing, right? So it's like
Yeah.
Teslas don't need. You'll never see a commercial for Tesla.
I'm just thinking with Jordans is like niggas ain't watching
Yeah.
the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so I find that shit crazy that like they even admitted that they're losing that much money because of the loss of Kanye West. And
Yeah, I
it's
think
like,
that stuff is always good for him, man. Like when he goes to Gap and their stock goes way up, it's like, man, this guy is an innovative guy, and any company that he kind of links himself to, the stock goes through the roof, right? And now he left Adidas, and they're saying they lost $1 billion.
it's to the point where like people are saying that they want him back, like, which is crazy. It's like, how do you have such a hardline stance on you did something so vitriol that we can't have you work for us? So like 6 months later, be like, all right, you can come work for us now. Like, you know what I mean? If that's true. Like,
That's why. Remember we were talking about. This is why I hate cancel culture too, because
Yeah.
I feel like it forces corporations into these like impulsive decisions that like like you said, 6 months later they look back like, what the fuck did we do? But in the moment it felt like it was the only thing we could do. But it's
Yeah.
like, no, man, just ride it out. Like,
yeah. So like I don't know.
Like, hey, another example. Remember when everyone was saying Starbucks doesn't like black people, and Starbucks went out of their way to do all this stupid training and shit? And that, right, what are we back to now? We all know Starbucks doesn't like black people. They should have just kept a hard stance on that. Like,
You're fucking stupid. But then now we also have in like the culture and clothing side, you saw Pharrell.
what about it?
Pharrell just got named the new creative designer of Louis Vuitton to replace
Yeah.
Virgil.
That's kind of cool. I feel like when are they gonna go back around to Kanye, bro? This is Kanye's job that they keep giving to everybody.
I don't know if it's Kanye's job.
He's the Louis
necessarily.
Vuitton Don, and his first shoes that came out with Louis Vuitton are still the best Louis Vuitton shoes to come out to this day.
I get that, but it's like what Virgil did. Kanye obviously he could have done, but it's a different vision, right?
It's a
like,
completely different vision.
So like Kanye moved with Balenciaga, Virgil moved with Louis Vuitton, and I would argue that Virgil and Louis Vuitton was a bigger collab.
It was. That's because Louis Vuitton is a way better brand, and it appeals to the urban market more. See how I used urban instead of black there?
You're an idiot. Yeah, so it's like I think it's sick that like they signed Pharrell, but in my opinion, it's like I don't get why Pharrell, after all his successes, would need a company like Louis Vuitton, right? Because he has BBC. He has.
They sold that shit a long time ago, but man, sometimes to work with these big fashion houses, it's like it's different, bro. Like it's different than when you start your own thing. Let's say, for example, right? Like if you start your own thing, you're creating T-shirt designs and tracksuit designs. Like, bro, you work for Louis Vuitton, you're having input on luggage and bags and shit, like you know, leathers and shit. Plus, you can say like, oh, I always liked that collection you guys had in the fall of 1978. Could we do something based off of that? And they'll pull up their archives and they'll pull up samples of stuff that they have from back in the day. They're very, very meticulous with all of it. So it's another level of professionality that comes with it, right?
No, yeah, I get that, but what I was kind of saying is like, so when you have Kanye West goes and gets Virgil to help with the Yeezy brand. Virgil leaves Kanye to do bigger and better things for himself.
Yeah.
Go to Louis Vuitton, right? And makes a huge name for himself at Louis Vuitton. My thing is like, Pharrell has been in the fashion industry for so long, doing very well the whole time, right? So you have BBC, you have ice cream, you have like even like the human race shoes that he made. Like
That's just big to kids.
No.
Like it's to kids.
oh,
that
so you're
stuff is
saying he
big.
wants to hit a different market? He wants to
Yeah.
be like credited by.
Yeah, this is like now you could have someone wearing your shit like on a red carpet. Like no one's wearing BBC on a red carpet. Like it's a
That's
different
true.
level, you know.
I guess that's a different way to look at it. I think it's cool that he signed it though, but I was just saying like, it's Pharrell.
I think it's good for Pharrell. I see what you're saying. Pharrell's done so much. I don't think he's gonna come at it like he's trying to be the next Virgil. He's gonna be able to put his own twist 100%.
On things. I don't think he's gonna try to bite his swag or whatever.
Yeah. He's able to put a Pharrell twist on things. Like it could be super gaudy or whatever he's into. Like super colorful. Like he has so much things that where if he came out with it, it wouldn't be like, where is this coming from? It's like, oh, that is Pharrell. That's been Pharrell for 20 years, like 30 years. Like we know like what he's doing. Like, you know.
No, I get that for sure. So, like, I don't know. I think it was really good that he got it. I like that they're keeping it relative to the culture. That, like, when I say the culture, I mean the black culture. That because Louis Vuitton could have went another way and said, okay, we don't want, because there are these companies that are saying like we don't want black people buying our clothes now. Like they
Gucci,
don't want it to
I
be
feel like
associated.
Gucci kind of leans in that direction. Gucci goes back and forth. Like they'll do a collab with North Face, but then they won't go and get like a black director for their company, and they'll say like, oh, we're trying to lean away from the urban market. It's like they try to play both sides of the fence, and I like that Louis Vuitton just leans into it, and it's still the best brand in my opinion. The best designer brand to me is Louis Vuitton.
You think it's Louis Vuitton, huh?
I think it's just the most wearable, the most timeless, and they do the most just cool shit. Like they like break the boundaries, and like they don't really follow the rules and stuff like that. And even like if you see like sometimes like let's say Gucci had that crazy run a few years back where everyone was rocking Gucci, and you had like not Christian Dior, but like Dolce & Gabbana started like copying them and shit like that. And it's just like you'll never catch Louis copying the hot brand of that year or those 2 years. They don't copy people and shit. They'll have their off years where they're not really the hottest brand, and they'll just keep doing what they do. I like that.
No, I'm not a high fashion kind of guy myself. Like I could care less about all that things, but I understand what you're saying. Like they have their own lane and they stick to it, but their lane is also what other people strive to get into, right?
Yeah. I'm still a regular person. I don't really buy none of that shit no more, but I still observe it. The same way I like cars and shit, the same way I like fashion and stuff. Like I can't really afford the cars that I aspire to have, but it's nice to be into them, right? To look at them.
I get that for sure. But yeah. All right, what last night happened. So we're recording this on Sunday, and last night was the NBA dunk contest, 3-point skills, whatever. What do you think about? So we see like the NFL, we had the Pro Bowl. That shit was garbage.
Yeah.
What do you think about now where the NBA is with like their All-Star weekend and stuff?
I think it's pretty good, and like they make it fun and they make it like immersive. It doesn't feel like it's just a routine. Like that's the Pro Bowl every year has just become like this weird routine. What they need to bring back with the Pro Bowl is just like all the skills contests and like 100-meter races and shit like that. That shit was so cool.
They did like 40-yard dashes and like bench contests, like shit that you do in the combine.
Contest with like a player's son, like any race, like sack race or whatever, anything like where you have to have a 12-year-old son at least, or between 12 and 14, and you team up and do some shit with your son, some shit like that, bro. Like it should just be way more immersive, way more family based. Like I don't like, bro. These guys play football all year. I don't care to see them play a meaningless football game.
Yeah, the whole point of like all these All-Star games, I feel like are the mini games around it, right? So like I personally would care more about like the dunk contest, the 3-point contest than I would the actual NBA All-Star game.
I think people do, and I think they're starting to realize that. I think they need to put in even a one-on. People have been talking about this last few years, a one-on-one contest. Because Michael Jordan would have won that every year. Michael Jordan and Kobe would have took pride in winning that every year.
I don't know. I think a big man would cook it. Like maybe the NBA
some
not
big
a
man
big
would.
now,
Some
say,
big man
like
would.
And like Giannis, it's like how can you like if we're gonna say like street ball rules where it's
a man like Giannis, but what you
would
would do is you make it King's Court. And you make it that the loser gets the ball, so you can't just go and score and get the ball every time. And you would make it like up to 5.
Okay, so if you let's say hypothetically that happened, who do you have winning? You think KD can beat him?
I'd probably have Braun. I'd probably have Braun, but like there's guys like Michael Beasley if he was in it.
That's being stupid.
Bro, I'm talking real basketball. There's guys who are really good one-on-one players who are just really good at that. And you don't know all of them. Like it could be a random guy like Jabari Parker for all you know, a guy who's tall enough to guard anyone and has a certain game that can play. But I know for a fact that Michael Beasley is one of those guys who's a great one-on-one player. Ever since college, you put Michael Beasley on a one-on-one situation, he's scoring 100%. So like KD would be disgusting too. I think LeBron would be disgusting. It for sure would be a guy like that. Like it would be tough for Kyrie to win.
Too small, yeah. But what like what you were saying like Jabari Parker and shit, it's like I feel like that's what's ruining like dunk contests and 3-point contests and shit now. It's because like they're getting these players that no one cares about in the dunk contest. Like
I'm
the
glad
whole
you
hype
brought that
about
up.
it was like bro, Vince Carter. When Vince Carter was in the dunk contest in 2000 and whatever,
and Michael Jordan, all that.
That shit was the cool. Like it was like the All Stars.
It's the star players' fault. Like guys like Ja Morant, because Zach LaVine was a really good player, and he used to go and kill that shit every year. It's guys like Ja Morant's fault, and LeBron really started it where stars weren't going to dunk off no more. But to talk about these guys yesterday, what's homeboy's name from the Pelicans?
Who's he?
Trey
Murphy.
Murphy. Trey Murphy. He looked great out there, and he put out on for himself, and he made a good name for himself. And then Matt McClung, bro, this is a guy who we all knew from viral tapes in high school and shit. Finally got his moment to really shine, and it's just like, bro, if that's the highlight of his career, that's fine, because it's like you said, we all like the dunk off more than the All-Star game. So it has more importance. And like I said, bro, these All-Star players like Giannis and Luka, we see them all year. Let me see a guy who could fucking jump from the free throw line and put the ball through his legs at the same time and dunk it. Let me see the random obscure guy in the league who could do that. And the thing is, Mac McClung is actually a really good basketball player. The NBA is just so talented right now, bro. There's a lot of guys in the G League that are actually like very exciting who should be household names.
But you don't think that, like, viewership wise, right? You wouldn't want to see, like, let's say, like,
no, I would last night. I would have wanted to see John Morant versus Mac McClung for sure, but Mac McClung would have beat him.
But would
he
you
would have watched
like,
him.
See like John Morant versus Russ Westbrook? Like,
nah. I see what you're saying, but this is my whole thing. It's just like Mac McClung. I wouldn't want to see him face a guy like John Morant and then get robbed just because John Morant has more star power.
No,
yeah,
I get that.
And that type of shit used to happen a lot.
But like. Yeah, because like I don't know. Back in the day, was like Josh Richardson a big name before the dunk contest, right? Like I don't know.
No, but he was bigger than like D Brown or like
Derek,
the other dude who you can't remember his name, and he kind of got robbed at dunk off. Like he was doing some crazy dunks and they weren't hearing it. Or like go look at the year that Blake Griffin won. It was scripted.
Oh, Blake Griffin's was terrible. He didn't dunk.
That was terrible.
Yeah, so I don't know. I didn't like the dunk contest. I feel like that
also
shit
Nate Robinson and Dwight Howard made a mockery of the dunk contest.
Bro, I think like today's day and age is just a mockery of the dunk contest. Maybe it's because of like Instagram clips and stuff like the fact that you can see all these better dunks online with people like that or that other skinny guy with the colored hair. Like they can do crazy shit and like they're not doing it in one take.
You're
live.
right.
They're doing it recorded.
Bro, Mac McClung did what, like a 720 out there, bro?
I think that dunk was meh.
Nah, you're crazy. And last year the dunk off was trash, but they definitely
you like this one better.
100%.
Oh no, I disagree with that. But no, like I think for not the dunk contest, but for the All-Star game, I feel like an easy way that all these leagues can do it is that they follow like the like obviously you can't because baseball is a lot less aggressive in the like on your body, but like how the MLB like home field advantage for the finals is based off of who wins the All-Star game.
Is it really?
Yeah. So like when you have the first in the East, first in the West, or whatever. And then,
that's cool. That actually is cool.
So like now,
I don't see why not to add
and then
that.
It's like instead of Boston being the higher seed than like let's say the Nuggets, whoever wins the All-Star game gets the home advantage of the 7-game series.
Yeah.
So then that would make people actually try. It's like everybody. It doesn't matter. Like if you have some people, like these guys are professional athletes, right? If you have some people on your team trying, you're gonna want to go out and try, right?
Yeah.
So it's like even the teams that are tanking, but you still have an all-star in that game, that guy's gonna still play at the level that everybody else is playing at. Right now, everyone's just walking around shooting from half court and shit. Like that's just not even fun to watch.
Yeah, no one wants to watch that shit. No one wants to watch that.
And then now, like they have like the cap rule, so like now the last 10 points, everyone fucking tries. So we'll see it tonight. You guys are gonna see this podcast after the All-Star game, so maybe we're wrong. Maybe this is gonna be the greatest All-Star game of all time. You'll never know.
No, the greatest All-Star game of all time was when Michael Jordan, we knew it was going to be his last because he was on the Wizards. And Kobe was in that game. Iverson, Vince Carter. That was it. That was the best All-Star game ever. And that one came down to the wire. Michael Jordan hit a game winner. Kobe had a chance to hit a 3 to win, but he didn't get the ball.
All right. So let's get into more serious topics.
Oh, wait, did Kobe hit the shot?
Kobe?
I can't remember even who won that one. It was such a great game. I got to go back and watch it. That was a great All-Star game.
Yeah, so let's move from sports and all these headlines to like more serious topics. I want to ask you.
More serious? What? We're scaring off the bitches with all this sports talk and all this serious stuff,
buddy,
man.
This one's going to remove all bitches because we're talking about Big Daddy Tate.
No.
Andrew Tate.
Hey, I feel like the females are pretty split. I know a lot of girls who rock with Andrew Tate.
Yeah, so I don't know. I want to see like have you seen the new developments in his case that's been happening?
I heard some leaks or something like that.
Yeah, so about like 2-3 weeks ago, the two of the victims that were claimed victims came out and were posting videos on social media and shit saying we aren't victims. Like, we understood what was going on. We weren't coerced to do any of this stuff. And then the judge in Romania ruled against them, saying that they were coerced. And today, like, their statements can't be validated because they're still brainwashed by Andrew Tate. So they're not able to be character witnesses for him, right? So that happened about 3 weeks ago, which is absolutely insane. And then this week, the text from the girls that are bringing the case forward still, there was leaked text from them. Like, we're going to pull it up on screen. But there was leaked text from them that were saying stuff like, we're going to win Grammys for this performance.
Let me see this. Pull it up.
I have it here. So we're going to win Grammys for this performance and stuff like this. The guy, like the girl's mom called her. And the girl's mom called her and was like, or texted her, sorry, and was like, what's going on? Why are you, why is the embassy calling me? Blah, 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 the American embassy. And they're like, don't worry, mom. Like, we're doing this for show, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's text saying this girl was completely making this up. These two girls were talking about it, saying we're going to be famous, we're going to get rich. Let's just change my last name, but I want my last name to still be with an A after. Shit like this. Like, it was a whole conversation. And now people are like, that whole text chain got leaked. And people are saying like these girls completely conspired against it. So I want to know what you think about that. Like, if
I think probably if they want to get rid of you, they're gonna get rid of you, man. That's why even like I heard that there was leaks of these girls saying like, oh, like that it doesn't matter, man. If the powers that be want you to go away, you're going away, man. I just hope that Andrew Tate is at peace with everything and ready to go away because they're probably gonna make him sit down for a while.
Well, the crazy thing is, so he's in jail right now with absolutely zero charges against him because I guess the way that the Romanian legal system works is you can be arrested and then they can build their case on you while you're arrested because they don't have like a bail system like we do. Like you get held up, but like an asset up for your bail. But then now. So they've been in jail since like the end of December. So now they extended it to 90 days. It was supposed to be just 30-day hold, and they extended it to 90 days to continue with the investigation. But there's been zero charges against them. And I was just like, bro, people made such an outrage about Brittany Griner, who did break their law. Obviously, significantly less like accusations against her. Compared to
different situations.
Sex trading. But it's like Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate are both American citizens.
Why I remember that people hate Andrew Tate.
No, of course. But it's like if you're gonna make the statement that we have to bring Brittany Griner back, she's an American. You can't leave an American in sovereign land. Blah 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 blah. If Andrew and Tristan Tate.
That's why I said with the Chinese balloon shit, bro. I don't really watch that shit in the media too much because this is another one of those things like Brittany Griner even getting arrested in Russia. Like the timing of it all is like. This is like some propaganda media shit make you look that way while they're doing something that way. And not to say that's what this Andrew Tate shit is, but it's just like you're definitely not getting the truth. You're not getting the facts. The facts don't really matter in the case, and fairness definitely doesn't matter, especially a guy who speaks about fairness all the time and calls out the hypocrisy of our society. Yeah, fairness is not going to pull out of that guy.
No, I get that. I think it's crazy that like he chose Romania because he says that's his oasis to escape the matrix.
That's why I'm surprised you're saying all this stuff that the Romanian laws work this way.
What do you think about Andrew Tate though?
He's dope, man. He spits facts, bro. He says it how it is. Like it's crazy. Sometimes you'll see people be so worked up to like, oh, I hate that guy's fucking guts. It's like you ask them like, what don't you like about them? They'll be like, oh, he's disrespectful to women. Okay, what did he say that's disrespectful to women? And then they draw a blank. It's like, yeah, I understand that he's the narrative is that he's been painted a certain way, and you don't like people who are painted that way. Okay, cool. You don't like sexist people. You don't like misogynist people. Cool. But you gotta show me a specific time. Like Kevin Samuels was worse than him, and even Kevin Samuels was just talking facts.
Hilarious.
Like Andrew Tate doesn't even go in on women's weight or anything like that. He's actually very respectful. He just says he wants a traditional woman, and he believes in being a traditional man. And people lose their mind at the thought of that. My whole thing is just like, if you believe in the opposite, you still have to leave room for people to believe in the counterpoint. Like, why can't people just have their own beliefs? I don't understand.
No, I 100% agree. But it's like, especially when you're getting fed that this guy's a misogynist, and you ask someone why is he a misogynist, and they can't answer. That's kind of crazy. It's like
super crazy.
But like, I would say, like, again, this is the most outrageous take I've ever heard from Andrew Tate, where he was like, if you were to put a woman's body count on their forehead, it will make up for a better society. And I was just like, okay, that as a statement is a crazy statement. But then he even talks about it like, yeah, that was clipped out of context, or not out of context, because he did say he clipped it. But he goes on to explain that like the reason why it would make for a better society is because you'll get better men. Because men will see that the women that they desire with like 2 bodies on their head and be like, I want to be number 3. They'll go get their money right. They'll go get their like their status up, and then they'll be able to attain that girl that only has a 2 body count and be like, hey, now I'm 3. Or
I'll just say
0, they go to 1.
I agree with that. Like I said, I agree with most things he says. 100% that would, right? But that's one of those things that's privacy. And just to play devil's advocate, if men had to walk around with their penis size written on their forehead, people would be acting different too. A lot of niggas wouldn't be talking as crazy as they talk, and a lot of bitches would like just be more fixed up, because a lot of what's out there is a lot of people we fascinate over people who we think they're a certain way. You don't even know what they're really like behind closed doors. Because let's say you're desiring, I don't know, let's say Rihanna, but you don't know that Rihanna's been with 1,000 men, and if you knew that, all of a sudden your perception of everything would be different.
That's
right?
kind of like the conversation about like Kim Kardashian. Everyone says, "Oh, she's such a slut," but it's kind of like her life is so public. You kind of know that her body count isn't that high, right? Like,
yeah, she might have only been with 10 guys ever.
Yeah,
it's just
she
all 10 guys.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like the whole concept of like knowing rather than not seeing. So I get what you're saying, but like the whole point of that like outrageous statement that women's body count on the forehead is essentially not. It's not at all misogynistic. It's literally saying it'll make men better men. Nothing against women.
Yeah, I think like between all these Dove ads about saying like I'm ugly but I'm still beautiful, like we kind of get confused with like certain things like misogynist, like if like to comment on a woman's body and stuff like that, if they're saying that's misogynistic, then a lot of things are misogynistic. Like if I'm a doctor and I say like a woman's overweight, then I guess I'm a misogynist, right? Yeah, that doesn't really make sense for it to be that extreme. Obviously, if a man starts saying like, oh, like women who are 10% overweight aren't worthy of love, like okay, that sounds misogynistic.
100%. So when you put it is a way that you like you talk about it, right? But it's like Andrew Tate wouldn't be Andrew Tate unless he comes with these salacious headlines, right? Yeah. So it kind of is like a give and take. So it's like if there's been thousands of guys who were like not even grifters, but like guys that would try to influence the younger generation and say, make sure you work out, make sure you get your money right, make sure this, but they don't go viral because they're not saying these crazy headlines. Yeah. Because those crazy headlines is how you get haters. When you get haters, people be like, why are you guys hating them? Oh, let me listen to him. Oh, he's not that. Like, why you guys are crazy? Like, you know what I mean?
You got to say some shit that's polarizing and go viral. You got to
literally just like headline. It's
everyone's gonna feel strongly one way or the other. Like like
he's just like clickbaiting, but in clips. Like that's essentially what it is. Yeah. And now that you're scrolling, you hear like this crazy shit, and you're like, oh, I hate this guy.
But even like that's the crazy thing about life in 2023. You feel like, bro, I want to be successful, I want to be big and stuff, but I don't want to have to do fucking controversial shit. I want to be myself. I want to be someone who's fucking level-headed and reasonable. But it's not the level-headed, reasonable people that blow up. It's the people who say absolutely ridiculous things
100%
that blow up online.
And it's not even just today, because like even think about like one of the biggest like public, especially in the hip hop culture, the largest public speakers, Charlemagne. This guy now is like mad, like laid back, understands what he's saying, actually has an impact. But before, his whole come up was him saying the most shit.
Just having no filter.
But it's fucking hilarious, and that's what made him who he is. Like, you know what I mean?
But I feel like he was being himself while he did that. Some of these guys who I see come up, I'm like, I wonder who this guy really is. Like a guy like, let's say like 6ix9ine. Yeah. Like I wonder who Danny really is. Like Danny's probably a decent kid. Like he seems like a smart guy. Like he's probably nice. Like he probably used to draw and shit in school. Like he's probably a cool kid. Like he didn't fuck around with guns and shit growing up for sure. I don't know where that whole persona came from, but it worked for him. Look how fucking famous he got.
He was like the cameraman for one of these like trap rappers in Brooklyn, and then he ended up shooting his own videos.
He probably was, and he was sitting there editing the videos. He was like, I could do that.
Exactly. And then he tattooed 69 on himself to go viral over and over again.
Even a kid like Central C, go back and look what he looked like 5 years ago. It's like he's transformed into a whole new person. He's dope. I don't have anything against him. I'm just saying like, sometimes these people will do things to get famous and it works, and can you really knock them? It's like if you just keep being yourself and it's not working, is that the right thing?
Yeah, no, for sure. Because like we were even talking about that on the way here. It's like these internet personalities are all bigger than life, right? So it's like there's something that everybody always says, like when a celebrity, internet personality goes onto a podcast, they're like, the best compliment you can give for somebody else is that's actually how they are in real life. Like, you know what I mean? To the point where like that means a lot of people aren't moving like they do in real life, but they're just creating content, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So it's like if you're gonna put out a content like long form content like a podcast or like YouTube videos and shit like that, and you're playing a person like a personality that's not actually you, it's like that means you're trying to get the clickbait. You're trying to do that to get famous. And like what you're
You
saying,
are.
where you just want to be a laid back, like a reasonable person to have reasonable takes, you're never gonna get picked up in these algorithms and shit. People are never gonna find you, right?
And I think that's why it's like people be making fake controversy and shit, bro.
Oh, 100%.
People be like fake beefing with people and all that type of shit because it makes for great content.
Like I'm sure if I asked you about like Toronto rappers and you say, "Yo, bro, Dovey's shit," blah 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 blah, that shit would go on Six Buzz or go on all these platforms, being like, "Yo, Jimmy's talking shit. He's trying to start."
Yeah,
shit.
that'd be the headline.
Exactly, and it's like,
say Jimmy calls out such and such, and people would love that. The blogs would be so happy. Oh, like
yeah, he comes back with a story like you haven't even dropped music in 10 years.
yeah. He'd roast me quick.
So it's like obviously that would gain traction to make your profile blow, but it's like
and people wouldn't care. People would not
even
even care to get roasted. Some people who just want to be popular and shit, they like roast me all you want. The funnier it is, the bigger I'm gonna get.
Exactly, and I'm gonna come back at you. No, like we're not gonna take personal shots, but we're just keep going back and forth.
Yeah, which is
talk shit.
Shout out to Drake, man, because he doesn't really beef with guys. Whenever guys beef with him, he took full advantage of it. But man, does that guy know how to go viral, bro? That guy knows how to go viral.
I would say when Drake and Meek Mill's beef, that kind of took Drake to another level in my opinion.
Yeah, it did.
Like, that was like the back-to-back era.
He
shit,
ran
like,
with that type of shit. He was like the opposite of 50 Cent.
Yeah.
It was like, if a nigga wants to beef with me, I'm going to end his whole career. Like 50 Cent used to go looking for that shit, but Drake, as soon as it came to him.
A singing nigga.
Yeah, that was... Bro, in all-time hip-hop shit, like... That's probably the worst ass kicking I ever seen.
Oh, bro, that's bad. And to the point where I think it's even worse that Meek like firmed the L and it's like, oh no, we're cool now. We're good.
Yeah. It's like, bro, you have to hate that guy for life.
It's like even if you're not out here hating him, you can't be friends with a nigga like that. So.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I'm curious to see how Max B acts when he gets out because it's like all that time in jail that will make you be like, I don't want to beef with niggas no more.
How long has he been? It's been like 10 years, no?
Yeah, but he's supposed to do 75 years.
70. Holy shit.
I mean, I don't even want to speak about all the ins and outs of all behind that, but it's interesting to see how niggas act after a beef. Like, especially because it's like, bro, it's so easy as a fan to be like, oh, like, they should be for life, but genuinely Meek Mill and Drake should be for life.
I don't think anybody says that you should be for life because, like, you have, like, the fucking Jay-Z and Nas beef that, like, their fans still do, like a Nas fan does not like Jay-Z.
I know.
Does not like Nas.
And it's so funny because the fans are getting
how long ago?
I know.
Blueprint, like 15 years ago.
The fans are getting so much less money than the guys. And they're sitting there holding the grudges and shit. And I remember when like 50 Cent and I can't remember if it was Ja Rule. Yeah, when 50 Cent and Ja Rule were beefing, it's like everyone was like, "Are you G Unit or are you Murder Inc?" It's like, I don't know those guys.
Yeah, that's why the rival teams, like even when 50 loves beats. I'm just thinking about it now because 50 was beefing with fucking the Game too.
Kanye West, everyone he could, bro, everyone he
and
could.
That's how
Floyd Mayweather,
the ASL challenge. Yo, that shit was funny, bro.
Yeah, no, he's a different character.
Yeah, no, there's been mad rap beef. Like even like now, they're fucking I don't know if you saw, but MGK and Eminem, right? You see
that's
how
a classic one.
But then now, apparently MGK and Megan Fox broke up, the first thing she did was go follow Eminem on Instagram.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't care about all that, but I saw that. I was like, this bitch.
Yeah, bro,
yeah, that's like to me. I don't never do no weird shit like that because it's like, bro, you're speaking on your own character now. Like, what do you think that people are gonna think that Eminem is cooler than me because we just broke up and you go follow him? They just think that you're a fucking bitch. Like, the fuck? Why would you do that to me?
No, like it's crazy. It's like that's clearly just a publicity stunt because it's like like in those times, like the 5-10 years. I don't know how long they were together. Let's say 5 years they were together.
I think her MGK industry plant relationship. I think that shit is fake. That shit is just. You get my agent to call your agent. We're gonna have a little situationship, and we're gonna be in the tabloids as much as we can. We're gonna pay the paparazzi $100,000 for the year to make us relevant celebrities. That's how these people be operating, bro. So I don't even want to talk about that.
I think there's industry plant relationships for sure. Like,
let's talk about the newest real rap beef going on is Blueface versus Chris Brown. Who do you think will win in a fight? That's a good one because that is a good one. That would be a good fight. I'll pay for that. Just saying.
I don't know. I would say Chris Brown just because Blueface is moving like a big waist man with this Christina Rock shit, bro.
I know, but
what's her name?
Krishan. But bro, have you ever seen a nigga in love? This is what it looks like when a nigga's in love. He cannot say no to this bitch.
Bro, it makes no sense. Like this bitch is so crazy, bro.
She's so crazy and so like. Bro, you ever see a bitch is just too wrapped up into you? Like, she's shaking. Half the time that she's around him, she's shaking with anger. Like,
bro, it's like she does like the most outlandish shit. It's to the point where I want to say, is that a fucking industry relationship? Because there's no way, right? Oh,
I feel
especially
like
rich niggas dealing with that shit.
it's
right?
like an industry relationship, but in like the way that Ike and Tina got together, where it's just like, bro, he really believes in her and he loves her. He genuinely loves her, and she actually does have star power, but she might just be a little too much.
Bro,
she might be too crazy.
Man.
Yeah, she might be
nuts.
too crazy. But like, bro, like, if the real world was still big and popping, I'd want to see her on there. But like, that's the thing. That's why people like him right now are doing their own reality TV shows.
No, because that is something that people. The fact that she's so crazy and it's not an act, it's
Oh,
just her
100%
actual
people-
character. That's why people would tune into that shit.
Bro, I went and watched the Shark Tank interview. I watched that whole shit because it's mad interesting where she got kicked off and shit. And
she got kicked off at Shark Tank.
Well, her and him were on there. And then she kept arguing with him about whether or not she should be able to call him a bitch. Like, that's what the whole argument was about. And he was like, yo, like, stop talking. And then she kept talking, like, here and there. And he was like, yo, get her off the interview. And he got, like, the security people to come and drag her off. And, bro, she's strong, bro.
Yeah.
Like, she was giving niggas a hard time. She kicked the TV broke and shit. Like, and it's like one of those moments where you feel bad for the guy. You're like, this is what this nigga's dealing with, bro?
All the
and he has to go
time.
deal with it after,
Think
too.
about the first fight that they had that went viral when it was like literally in the middle of the street in LA, right? Fucking, she's literally just punching him. He's just like has a stiff arm, like just trying to get off him. Mad people stop, like, oh, it's Blueface filming. It's like, yo, bro, help me. Like, he's literally saying it to the people filming. He's like, yo, can you get this girl? And he wasn't doing anything to the point where like he threw her on the ground. And everyone's like, whoa. He's like, what are you supposed to do? If a girl's just swinging on you, he threw her on the ground and walked away. Everyone's like yelling.
I've been in that situation a lot, bro. And so when a girl's okay, listen, when a girl's really, really swinging on you, like really trying to swing on you, she actually wants you to hit her, but you can't hit her in that situation. Because what she wants is for you to be in a vulnerable position where she could call her dad or call her brother or call the cops and say, this nigga hit me. He put his hands on me. What you have to do is you grab the bitch by the two shoulders and you squeeze her arms in so she can't hit you no more, and you place her wherever is the most convenient to place her, like with a group of other people, down on a bed, like down away from you, like, and then just exit from the situation. But like, as far as like sitting there and eating the shots, I don't know about that, bro, because they're not weak. Like, girls aren't weak. They're not as strong as you, but they're not weak. Don't let them hit you in the face.
It's crazy because like even in like that same Blueface scenario I was saying, like the second he put his hands on the girl, was like, all right, and put like threw her to the ground. He just like, he wasn't even like a vicious. It was like, get out of my way one. Bro, everybody that was stopping and filming was like, "What are you doing? You can't do that.
And then they'll sit there and watch you get your ass kicked and not help you, and then as soon as you do anything to defend yourself, oh my god, I can't believe he did that. It's like, what the fuck? Nah, like, no, I'm sure she can, bro. She's built like, she looked like, I wouldn't. I mean, I don't know.
No, she's an athlete, fam.
Yeah, I wouldn't put her in the ring with too many females and expect them to come out perfectly fine. To be honest,
yeah, bro. I don't know what happened to her, but she's like mental.
Let's get back to Blueface versus Chris Brown. No, I think Blueface could win a boxing match. I do.
Didn't he have a boxing match?
Yeah, he does the celebrity boxing
so
shit.
Like,
I think he has hands.
But like, just Chris Brown?
Chris Brown for sure, because Chris Brown's good at everything.
Yeah, bro, the nigga can dance. That footwork would be fire.
Chris Brown is. Hold on a second. Chris Brown is the most talented person on the planet. I got a shout out to Chris Brown right now.
More talented than Jamie Foxx?
Way more, but like that's another guy who's up there. Yeah. But bro, Chris Brown could paint. The nigga paints. He could dance. He could sing. He's clearly good with women and shit. He could actually rap too. He could probably fight. He's great at basketball. I never seen him play football, but he's amazing at basketball. You ever seen him play ball?
Yeah, for the All-Star Celebrity.
It looks like Street Volume 3. Like, he's out there cooking. He's nice.
So you think, like, do you think that would ever happen though? Like, right?
No,
like,
Chris Brown is too big for the celebrity boxing matches.
I don't think. Well, again, I'm not trying to count his pockets or nothing, but he hasn't been like relevant in media recently, right? So,
yeah,
like,
but see, guys like that, bro, sometimes you'd rather not be relevant and still able to make a bag. Like, Wiz Khalifa right now isn't relevant, but he's still making money.
But I would say, like, Chris Brown, no matter how quote unquote irrelevant he gets, he'll always be Chris Brown. He's gonna, like, he can't walk around in public on his own.
No, but he doesn't need to, bro. You know how much money that guy has? Like,
no, yeah. Like, but I'm saying, like, if you're gonna be famous, why not live up to your fame, right? So it's like
some people think that way, and then some people okay. So think about it like this too. It's not like the man is on the teetering point of, oh, should I go be famous or not? He was already famous for over a decade, like, so he had his fill of that. He's like, I know what that's all about, and even still now, like you said, he's still Chris Brown.
Yeah,
he's never gonna not be famous. It's just now he's just not trying to be in the public eye like that constantly. Like, you have to really, like I said with those, bro, like, even the small celebrities do it, but the big celebrities do it too, bro. To be paying paparazzis to pull up and shit, like, they want the bag too, to do, like, they're not just gonna come take pictures of you because you look good. Like,
no, but I'm saying like you see Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather obviously is rich. Like, everyone that says Floyd Mayweather is broke, like, you're an idiot.
Yeah,
but he's
dumb.
Obviously rich, but he's still taking all these little fights here and there because it is a bag at the end of the day, right? It's like the same reason why these big ass like influencers will go put like a Invisalign ad on their Instagram. It's like it's the same thing. It's just
but you have to ask these people what motivates them. Like, if you ask Chris Brown, like, what motivates you right now, he's probably gonna say like, oh, like, just happiness and my inner peace. You ask Mayweather what motivates you right now, he's gonna say like, I'm trying to get money for my great grandkids. I already know my grandkids are good. I know my great grandkids are good. Now it's my great grandkids who I'm worried about. Like, he really has that type of money, and he could actually put aside the money for different generations and say, this is for your kids.
Yeah, I guess it does just go to mentality, right? So like, if Chris Brown wants to or not, but exactly. It's like, if they're talking about it, don't you think it's like a little press run? It's like, why would he entertain it if he's not somewhat interested?
Oh no, they were talking because it's just all about whether you should beat your bitch or not. So they naturally got into it. That's literally all it is.
I did not see that. That's fucking hilarious.
And Blueface was just saying, nigga, do whatever you do, just you hit the wrong bitch. Yeah, it's like, she just performed at the Super Bowl. You got to know that you fucked up, and that's a fact. We don't condone domestic violence. I'm just saying, in these days, we got to acknowledge that women usually start that shit, man. You guys don't know how to keep your hands to yourselves.
I wouldn't even say that. I wouldn't go that
100%. 100%. All the dudes who I know who like beat up their girl and shit like that, they're fucked up individuals, but they're also with fucked up women who hit them constantly and bring that side out of them. But that's why I would never be with no girl. Once I get into one physical altercation with a girl, that's it. Me and you are done. After I get out of that situation, I'm done, because I know you're trying to get me out my frame, and like I said, you want to turn it on me to bring your dad against me.
Oh no, I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a second, but like, there's been mad scenarios. Again, we don't see what happens before, but mad scenarios like Ray Rice in the elevator, or like that other NFL player that literally just walked into the living room and just beat up his girlfriend for no reason.
But Ray Rice was short. He was real short. And even Gervonta, if you look, same thing. Gervonta's short as hell.
So you're saying short people are allowed to?
I'm saying that Napoleon complex shit. Like, these niggas, like, bro, and these girls, I know they could say something to set these guys off so quick. Like, that's why I cheated on you with such and such.
Bro, any grown ass man that, like, even for a guy that can get that irritated that quick, it's like, yo, you have a problem. It's like,
for sure.
Nothing that someone could say to me that could ever like trigger me to go be like, throw hands with them. I gotta drop it.
But like I said, you're big. So you're what, 6'5", 6'4"? Like, you're big.
Trying to just put his measurement notes because I made him 5'9".
Whatever. You're an idiot. But TJ's a big guy, so you can't really relate to it. A guy like Gervonta, I'm pretty sure the girl he dates is taller than him. He's like 5'4". She's like 5'7".
Like, again, not always, but guys are stronger than girls.
Guys are stronger, yes.
Like,
okay,
you can say this girl's bigger than you,
why I just said, girls, we're stronger than them, but they're not weak, bro.
No, I get that.
Imagine a bitch like Lizzo, 6'5", a little bigger than you, starts beating you up and shit.
Lizzo 6'5".
But no, seriously, you have to imagine a woman your size now starting to beat up on you. You would get a little worried. But let's be real, Gervonta's not worried. He's not concerned at all.
Yeah, he's a fighter, bro.
He's just thinking like, this bitch is trying to disrespect me.
These NFL players aren't scared of these girls either. It's like just a fucking...
No, you're right. It's no discipline. No discipline.
Yeah, it's discipline. It's like, yo, the fact that you can get like that is crazy. But again, there's a lot of... like, those are scenarios where it's like those guys are 100% in the wrong, but there are so many other scenarios where it's like, girls are just wilding. Like,
girls,
like, you see it when you go to the clubs. Like, I used to work security and shit. And like, girls start fights with girls more than guys start fights with guys. It just doesn't get bloody or anything because they're girls, right? Like, when girls are swinging on girls or when girls are swinging on guys, it's not going to do anything. It's like, but when you have grown men fighting grown men, that's when niggas get hurt, right?
Yeah. And I think that's the thing with men, is just that you have to realize that man, you lose your temper, things could go really wrong. Like people really get hurt, and that's why it's so much more important for us to keep our temper. That's why I teach my sons and all that. But it's just like I teach my daughter too to keep her hands to herself. Don't hit someone and expect them not to hit you back. I don't believe in that. I don't be hitting girls back and stuff like that. But you're putting someone where they're in a situation where they had to decide.
Yeah.
You know,
because if like any guy was to act like that to another guy, they're gonna get hit right
back.
No, without a hesitation.
Even
right?
Bro, even a nigga says the wrong thing to me. Don't even say the wrong thing to me, bro. Because if we're all chilling right here like this, and a nigga's like, "Oh yeah, you bitch," well, who's the bitch? Like, what are you talking about? Like, now we have to fight. Or else what you're saying is true. It's just like, and that's the thing too, where it's just like, for guys, it's like, yeah, we have that respect amongst each other because we know that it's on go if you say the wrong thing. But
I also think
women just be saying anything to guys.
I think it's also more of a perspective that guys understand what violence actually is, right? So like a guy understands that like if we get in a street fight, like you could knock me out, I could bang my head and potentially die, like shit like that, right? But then girls don't understand that violence actually is violent, right? So it's like they can punch you and it's like they're going to punch you 10 times. They can punch another girl their exact same size 10 times. No one's getting knocked out, right? Like very rarely. Yeah. So it's like guys and girls have a different perspective of violence. So girls are like, I'm just angry. I want to punch you. It's like guys can't just get angry and punch other guys. Cause then, like,
and that's why the whole equality thing to me is a little immature because it's like, yeah, when we're like 7, 8 years old, we're all equal. Like we're all like the same more or less. But it's like, bro, now that I'm a grown man, like there's not a lot of women that are capable of as much violence as you know, like unless she's like a trained fucking fighter and shit. And even then that bitch knows that she can't just be going around fighting bitches because she's going to hurt somebody. Yeah, so like, it's like, yeah, just be aware of yourself.
And that loops it back into like the whole Andrew Tate shit. It's like that's exactly what he preaches. He's like, not saying girls are inferior to men. It's just we're all different. We're all different.
Yeah.
And that's all it is, right?
Yeah.
So like I don't know. I think that was sick, but like I think the whole Andrew Tate case is fucked. And we can move on from that. But
I was gonna ask you about something though, because see, I think it was week 1 and we talked about the dudes who got accused of rape, right? And they had they said they had a semen sample or they didn't or something, right? And I was just thinking, bro, like, because I'm a conspiracy theorist, I don't really believe in this 23andMe shit. Like all that ancestry DNA shit, right? And let me put it to you this way. If that shit really worked, right? Why wouldn't they be able to take someone's semen or something like that, analyze the DNA on it, say this person is 70% Nigerian, we should be looking for a dark-skinned person. But they don't really have that type of science, right? Wouldn't they be using it if they could to say like, oh, this person is who raped her is of Hispanic descent, like 100%?
I would like say that doesn't really relate to the case that we were talking about because they.
It's not specific to that case. It got me just thinking in general.
Yeah, so just in like the case that we were talking about, like they knew by like tracking her last moments, right? Like at the bar and shit. So like, they knew the guys that they were talking to, whatever. But I get what you're saying. Like all these other cases, like why can't they do shit like that? And this is actually kind of crazy. So I don't know if you know Candace Owens, right?
Yeah,
so
I seen what she was saying.
So she has her own podcast, and in her podcast, she was talking about like when she first gave birth to her son. And she was talking about her experience of the first time she's ever given birth. And one of the things that she brought up was they asked for a blood sample for a kid to put into a database, but they're also going to screen the blood to see if he has any trace markers for XYZ disease, right? So she was like, what are you talking about? Looked at the paperwork, and it was the sense saying, like, they're going to have this blood sample forever. And then she looked into it more and was finding out that people were getting arrested, like, when they're, like, 20, 30 because of blood samples they gave when they were kids. Mm-hmm. So it's like the database that they're putting everybody in is like what you're talking about. Like you're saying you can be able to track some of this shit. I would say some of that comes back because people have been and will continuously be arrested for blood samples from when they're children.
Okay.
So it's like,
it's a little different than what I was saying, but like, let's say with that, like, as much as that's a conspiracy, like,
it's not a conspiracy.
I think that the right person who actually did the crime should go away. So I can't be too against that DNA database. It's like, okay, more people are gonna get caught than they should, but like, now it's less people in jail for crimes they didn't commit. Like,
no, well, let me state by saying, like, I don't agree with the justice system at all. I think niggas that proved, like, over time and time that the justice system is never 100%, but then also always cry for justice, kind of, like, it's hypocritical in the sense that, like, you're asking for what you want to become true, but you understand that the system itself is flawed. So, like, even with the DNA shit, like, look how many niggas got out of jail, like, in the turn of the century when DNA became prominent science, right?
Yeah.
So, you have people in jail for, like, crimes they didn't commit, like, for 20 years.
The DNA database is good because it avoids all
so
that.
Then the DNA database happened. These guys are like, all right, let's run our whole thing again. And then people are getting out, like, 15 years into their sentence. But then now, today, it's like, it is convicting people, but it's not even 100% accurate, right? So it's like, I don't know. I think that the justice system is extremely flawed, but like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to move on from what you were talking about, but I actually want to say something to this. I always thought it was very, very weird that people are in school from the ages of 5 to 18. Let's just say high school, not even university. From the ages of 5 to 18, and there's no set course like in school where you learn law. And it's like law is the rules of life in the society you live, but they're not going to teach us the rules of the life in the society we live. I think there shouldn't be lawyers. I think everyone should be able to be taught to an amount that you would be able to represent yourself in court. Because it's like the fact that
philosophically that makes sense, but like when you're in court, you see how much bureaucracy there is. I do see what you're saying. It should be way simpler.
Like everybody would agree that in court today, like whoever has the better lawyers have the upper hand. Like people get off, like O.J. Simpson. You can get off when you know you're guilty.
It's pay to win when you're in court.
Exactly. So it's pay to win. But it's like the court system. That's not justice, right? Like when people talk about criminal reform and stuff like that, I think it's like the best way to do criminal reform is from 5 years old every day. Teach kids new laws all the way to the point they're 18. Yeah, but you can start with small stuff like don't jaywalk, don't steal, stuff like that until you're like 10. And then when we get 10, you can learn how to avoid scams. Like right now in school, I don't know if you know this, but in like high school, they have courses on how to like avoid cyber attacks, right? So like not for bullying, for like scams and shit. They're teaching that in school now.
Yeah.
So it's like if you can, like, obviously, I agree 100% they should. But it's like if you're able to teach stuff like that, how to avoid all these like internet scams, like phishing, stuff like that, it's like, why can't you teach laws? Like the concept that law is separate from society is so weird to me because that is the rules that we have to live by, and people don't know the rules. A regular person does not know law. You have to go to law school to learn law.
Even then, you got to ask yourself, especially with a lot of the financial laws, do they want us to be in the dark so they can manipulate this shit?
I would say, like, even financially, it's like...
I'm a conspiracy theorist, bro, so I'm with you. I think that what they're doing is wrong, and it's for a reason. I think they're trying to treat us like farm animals and shit. They don't want us to know too much. They don't teach a cow how to survive in the wild for a reason, right?
Yeah, and it's like it's a game that we're not even privy to, right? So they have their whole different way of language. Their language in the court of law isn't like basic English. It's not even like professional speak. It's a different, like it's a whole different jargon like that you use in the court of law. So it's like it's a game that you're not even able to come in at, right? Yeah. So you would have to go to law school to learn how they talk about, and then they'd recall like certain things, blah blah blah. But it's like these are things that you should absolutely be able to know, right? So like if you are innocent, you should be able to prove that you're innocent based off of like, bro, I'm gonna explain it to you.
Even on a more simple sense, like I think like they should teach kids like the wild herbs that we have grown in Ontario. Like if you live in Ontario, you should know what plants you're able to live off of randomly. But it's just like the education system is bullshit. But wait, I just want to ask you though, before we change the topic all the way back into this conspiracy rabbit hole, do you think that 23andMe shit is real? Do you think that if you go and get your blood tested, that they could tell you where your ancestors are from?
No, not at all. And I think like that everybody, like the argument where like you have like Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about like how
I fucking hate that guy.
Everyone's from Africa, blah blah blah. So everyone is technically black. That's what he says and shit. I'm just like, like that's not like. I think to an extent they can tell where you're from, right? So like I think if I took my blood, they would be able to tell I'm half Asian, right? Even though I fully look black, but my mom is full Asian. So I think they can do shit like that. But then it gets to the point where it's like, to what extent? I don't think so. Like, like I think they would be able to. Like, I think they could track it like further than a family tree, but I don't think they can track it like all the way.
Also, too, like let's say they went to like a remote Amazonian tribe and took their blood, right, and did the 23andMe shit, and they're like, oh look, he's Nigerian, but it's like, bro, this guy hasn't left him and his grandfather all haven't left the Amazon whatever in like 1,000 years. So whatever markers you have set into that make it ping as, oh, he's Nigerian or whatever, could just be wrong. Like, you know, like his blood could hit all those same markers, but clearly be from somewhere different. That's why I just think that the whole science behind it is foolish.
Okay, well, this isn't even a conspiracy. This is just my personal belief. I don't think all humans came from Africa. Like that, obviously, that's gonna
obviously not
from all science. But like, I think, like this is my this is just my opinion.
Wait, where are the Caucasoid Mountains?
The fuck are the Caucasoid Mountains?
That's where Caucasian people are from. The Caucasoid Mountains. What is the Caucasus? What do they call it? Where Caucasian? See, so, he knows. Spell it right. Spell it for them. Caucasian people. They're from the Caucasus Mountains.
That's actually a thing?
Yeah.
Well, I'm guessing it would have to be somewhere in Europe,
the
right?
mountains of Caucasus.
Well, this guy's fucking trolling. But no, what I'm saying is like I think like the Africans, like everyone says, oh, it's just one landmass, blah blah blah. We
Look
travel.
right there. That's where they're from.
What is that? Where is it?
The Caucasus Mountains. Where is it? That looks like somewhere in Europe. You're right.
No, that's in Georgia. That's
It
the Middle
says
East.
Armenia.
Bro, there's no way white people came from the Middle East.
That's where they're from.
Bro, that's Georgia, Turkey, fucking Azerbaijan. Like, bro, that's almost Russia. Like Syria, bro.
No, it's so
Yeah,
far from Russia.
No, it isn't. Zoom in. Bro, do you know?
Look at
know
where they
geography?
are.
That's fucking Russia.
The
Azerbaijan,
very most western part of Russia. Okay.
Bro,
It's
that's
by
where,
all the
like,
Azistans.
the stands.
Yeah, the Istans.
Okay, but regardless, I think like
Mm.
I don't know. I would say like that. I don't know. I don't know anything about that, so I don't want to speak on it. But I think that there's going to be black people in Africa because of pigmentation or whatever. That's what they claim. But I don't think pigmentation necessarily plays a role in black people being black. I think black people are black, Asians are Asians, and white are white. And then now whenever you move, like if you look at like the Middle East, it's kind of a combination of white and black. So you have all these like Arab, like,
merging
like,
people.
Yeah, so it's like whenever you like India is kind of like black and Asian, like you know what I mean. It's like it kind of merges based off of geography like that.
Yeah, like four original tribes type shit.
Yeah,
That's my thinking too.
That's how I see it.
That's how I see it. It's just like how could you keep track of if someone's from fucking Senegal or from South Africa? How the fuck would
Bro,
you
those
know
are
that?
very far from each other. Like it's crazy. But like what I'm trying to say is like an easy way for me to break it down is there's like 10 different types of like big cats, right? So you have lions, tigers.
Don't compare me to no cat.
no. Lion, tigers, leopards, cheetahs, like mountain lions, shit like that, right? And they're all over every continent, all over in every like almost every country that you have some form of big cat. And it's like I don't think all big cats came from one cat. So why are all humans coming from one human? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just bullshitting, but again,
Neil Tyson Degrasse would say, you know what? Technically, we're all from one cell.
Yeah, exactly.
One single cell.
So it's like, I don't know. Like, it's just some bullshit. It's like, how can you tell me that all black people are from one place? Oh, but then they went to Sweden and turned white.
Can we
it's
just
like,
have a fuck Neil Tyson Degrasse, like 10, 15 minutes of just, bro, because remember we saw the thing, he said that when you're skating, you're not sliding on the ice, you're actually concaving and the pressure is turning the ice into water and that's what you're gliding on. And then TJ said it best, he's like, bro, so what about when you're wearing shoes?
Yeah, bro.
You're still sliding and slipping everywhere.
Yo,
it doesn't make no sense.
If you see an uphill and it's an uphill of ice, like a driveway or something, you're not walking up it. And if you're talking about like small pressurized thing, and it's like, come on, bro. Like, there's so much contradictory things that make no sense.
You know what else he said too? He said the earth is actually really level. He said if you take an egg and were to make it the same size as the earth.
A marble. All right, no, he says a pool ball, yeah.
Something super smooth. He's like the ins and outs and concaves of it would be way greater than earth is. He's like, if you made earth as small as an egg is, it'd actually be super smooth. It'd be way smoother than the egg is. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? There's fucking mountains and shit. Like,
no, but like his argument is earth is so big that the highest mountain, Everest, is only like 2 kilometers high or whatever number it is. And then the lowest point is so low. But then when you scale that up to what is earth, that it's as smooth as a cue ball. And I think it's bullshit. It's like,
it's bullshit. And this is why I hate to say the earth is flat, bro. And then I go to beef with niggas like Neil Tyson Degrasse and they pull out he's one of those guys who thinks the earth is flat. Obviously he's an idiot. And then no one looks into it anymore. And it's just like, bro, what is this dude talking about saying that we're on this ball that's perfectly flat like an egg and it's spinning through the cosmos at a 666 million miles per hour, stupid shit. Like, bro, shut up with all that shit, bro. This nigga Neil Tyson deGrasse is a
right, chill on that.
Sorry, we'll edit that out. But I can't stand him, bro. I can't stand him. I cannot stand that guy, bro.
No, he says the most crazy shit, but like that's science in general, right? Like they can say whatever they want. And you can't really prove it. And that's why I always have a disagreement with people who like want to act like they know, but they don't act like they. So for example, like let's say for at Earth, I don't believe that the Earth is flat, but if I was to go up to anybody and say, do you think that the earth is flat? They'll say, no, like what? It's clearly round.
You off.
And then I'll be like, okay, can you give me 3 reasons why you think the earth is round? The number one thing they'll say is, because people smarter than me say it's round.
Mm-hmm.
I say, okay, what about number 2? Ancient civilizations knew it was round. Okay, so that's people that you would consider smarter than you, right? So yeah, so it's kind of number 1. So they don't even have a number.
What ancient civilization?
So it's like they don't have a point 2 or 3, and their point 1 is I was told it, so it has to be true. Mm-hmm. So it's like again, I'm not saying that the earth is flat, but I'm saying how the hell are you so like confident that the Earth is round when you don't actually know anything about Earth being round other than, oh, NASA's in space.
Right.
I think it's just weird that people are so confident
That's
that it isn't.
I bet, but button on there because like people are so confident, like you said, bro. People always like, oh, I was told this, I was told that. Look at that movie, The Truman Show. You really only know our like, bro. It could all be a simulation. We could just be being lied to, and people would be so confident, be like, oh, I know for a fact. Well, you haven't seen that fact, bro.
100%.
You haven't seen that.
Bro, there's literally a saying that's like, the best way to fool an academic is put it in a book.
Yeah, exactly.
This is like anything they read in a book, it has to be true.
Bro, just
right?
think about how small your world is. Like most people don't leave their city, but more than even a few times in their life. Like you don't know the world the way you think you do. People think that they know the world because of TV and books and shit. That is an image that's put in front of you that could easily be brainwashing you into buying something that's not even real.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, I don't think it matters too much. Like I said the other day, it's really just about making sure that your family knows how to act like a family and knows how to live right. But I'm just saying though, bro, when these dudes come out talking about like, oh, Kyrie Irving's an idiot. Who thinks that the Earth is flat? Ha ha. So it's like,
yeah,
bro, that's a more natural thought than to think that it's round.
But I also think like it's like who cares about what your opinion is? Like
Exactly.
I can have opinions on like what I was saying before. Like I think there's different humans that have, like that evolved in different places on Earth to the point where now everybody's slowly mixing to be like light skin type shit, like because that is what they project all of America to look like. It's like 50 years, everyone's gonna be somewhat light skin type shit. So it's like I think that is more of a plausible cause than everybody saying everyone came from Africa and spread out. But that's just my opinion. I'm okay if I took a time machine 100 years and they found out definitively that everybody did come out from Africa. I'll be like, okay, I'm wrong. I don't mind being wrong.
Exactly. That's
but it's like the fact that people are so adamant that they're right when they aren't actually right. Like they think they're right, but they're not. Like there's no actual facts to back it. It's like that's kind of crazy, and it's like their facts is based off of someone else's opinion. It's like that's so weird to me. It's like how can you be so strongly opinionated on something that I think flat Earth is the best one because everybody who like if you were to walk into a party and say I'm a flat earther, people will look at you different. And if you ask them why do you believe that the Earth is round, and they'll say scientists say.
Yeah. It's so polarizing. It's like even you seen the one where they asked the pilot like, oh, you just flew from like America to China, like did you like change your trajectory because you just went over the curve? And they all look at you and they're like, no, like we never change our trajectory.
Bro, another crazy thing. This is again, I only argue based off what science proves, right? So my argument is, how can you say that the Earth is not flat, but our solar system is flat? Because you understand, like everybody's known that, like throughout time, that Jupiter and Neptune block like asteroids and shit from hitting Earth because it's on a flat plane, essentially. Like, obviously, it's not like flat like a bowl, but it's like relatively flat. You don't see like shit moving north south. It's kind of like an east west if you want to put it in perspective like that. And then now, if we go to say our solar system's flat, you also know that our galaxy's flat. So the Milky Way galaxy, all these galaxies are literally flat. You see pictures of them where they're spirals on a flat plane, right? So it's like you can go on Google, you search, is the galaxy flat? They'll say yes, blah, blah, blah. Show pictures of like the Andromeda, right? It's like the A something galaxy, the one that's closest to Earth. It's like 1 million light years away. And then on top of that, if you break it even bigger, you just Google like, is the universe flat? And they'll say yes. So it's like if everything is flat but Earth, it's just like how can you be so definitive? Again, I don't think any of those are actually true, but I'm saying like put like 1 and 2 together, right? So it's like everything is flat and it's like, oh, but Earth is absolutely.
And just like you said, who cares too much? It's like I would love for someone to actually prove me wrong. Take me up on a magic space ride and show me,
That's what I'm saying.
But that doesn't. I don't get as passionate about that as I do for my hate for Tyson Degrasse. I hate that guy because, bro, the way he talks is so confident and so matter of factly, and that's how a lot of scientists come off. Like they just act like, and it's like, bro, a lot of the stuff that you spent your whole life. Look at his face. Look, the stuff you spent your whole life studying, bro, wasn't that interesting to me. That's why I'm not as well like learned on it as you are, because I don't want to sit here and study like microphysics and like quantum physics and all that type of shit because it's not interesting, bro. Like I would rather talk about some real life shit. But this guy wants to go and act like he's like the end all be all when it comes to how the world works.
No, I get what you're saying, but I also will give a little pushback. He's just a spokesman for science, right? Because so like the fact that he's so animated and shit is what draws people in, right? Like we also have Bill Nye the Science Guy. Same thing. They're not actually scientists. They're not the ones that are putting in the work or whatever. Yeah. They're just the ones that are reeling it because they have the personality.
He's
but it's
like,
I understand fully. He's fucking annoying because he's moving like that, right?
Yeah, I can't stand him.
It is like, for a matter of fact, it's like, bro, shut up, like, you know.
Go get a lineup, bro. Like your shit is not looking right, bro. The hell? Oh man.
No, I just think all that's like I can go forever on space. I love that shit. Like that's like my whole childhood. All I did was look up space and evolution and shit like that. And that's why I always have contrary.
Okay, this is what I'll say to stuff like that. Like all these industries, like the shape of the Earth and space and dinosaurs and stuff like that, bro. Like if you love that stuff so much as a child and you study it and you learn into like you look into learning this stuff and you're trying to go off the backs of professors who came before you and shit like that, bro, even if at some point in time you realize that shit is a lie, you got to stick with the lie now because you put so much money into these books and all that stuff. Like you got to keep it going. Like what you're just saying, space and this and that. So let's say you become an astronaut, right? Bro, only like the top like 0.0005% of astronauts would ever even know if space is real or not, because how many people get launched into space? And like even the military is like that too. It's like, bro, no one's working on the whole project. Some people are working on the wheels, some people are working on the springs. Yeah, it's all compartmentalized, so no one really knows what the big picture looks like except for a small handful of people. So it's like it's easy to lie about whatever the fuck is going on. I think this shit is fascinating too. Dinosaurs would be cool as shit if they were real. I don't believe that they were.
But yeah, like even
I don't want to go too much into the tinfoil hat stuff though. Yeah. I'm still a regular guy.
I'm gonna say the last conspiratorial thing before we move on, but like it's crazy that if you want to look at the moon landing, that they went to the moon 6 times with 3 astronauts each time. So what is that? That's
so they say.
18 people, and every single astronaut was different each mission. No one went to the moon twice.
Yeah,
it's like.
Bro,
you would never trust a pilot to not like a pilot on his first flight rather than his 10th. Like, you know what I mean?
Right?
It's like experience should matter in situations like that, but no one has ever gone back twice, and that's just
the fact that they can't get there right now, right?
Yeah.
Let alone
failed mission last year.
Let alone get there and come back. They launched off the moon and came back to Earth. Bro, what type of setup did they have there?
No, they had
hold on, wait. Think about the huge, massive $billion setup that we have on Earth to launch them off the planet. What type of setup could they have over there with 6
what
astronauts
they had
setting
was,
it up?
What Elon Musk and SpaceX got famous for, the reusable rockets, but they had that apparently in the 70s or 60s.
Come on, bro.
Late 60s. It's like the fact that when they landed on the moon, they came out of like, there was a rover a lunar lander that shot out of the ship, landed on Earth. They went out, did their moon mission for like 30 hours, get back in the lunar lander, and the lunar lander had its own like capabilities to shoot back and get caught by the same spaceship that's hovering over them, and then that ship came back to Earth. It's like
that shit sounds like Austin Powers, bro.
Yeah, the logistics of that is crazy.
I stopped listening.
But you know what I am interested for? When we do go back to the moon, because I believe now we can get there. Like I think like technology, if we can, like I believe that we can get there today, because I believe that we do have like rovers and shit on Mars. Like I think they shipped them out. But if we do land there now and the video was completely different than what it was back then, would they admit that they faked it?
No. Hey, Mishu, pull up. There's a website that shows you all the satellites hovering around the Earth.
Yeah.
Bro, look at this bullshit. It's
no, I've seen it. Like how populated and shit it is.
Yeah,
right?
How the fuck would that
But
operate?
it's also like, it's not to scale, right? So like in that picture, it looks like way more than it is because there's so much space, right?
Okay. I
but
see
like,
what you're saying.
no, I think
but
all
still,
that,
bro, you be seeing that shit flying around
like
all the time.
Shit.
Yeah, you would see it. Like, come on now, stop lying to me, bro. They
but
just be putting up little balloons. See that Chinese balloon? It's just a balloon like that.
Yeah.
And that's what gives you the Wi-Fi. That's what gives you everything. Your phone connection, all that. But I be sounding like sometimes I be sounding crazy, bro. But I just don't trust the government for nothing, and that's why when people say like, "Oh, who you voting for?" I'm like, "What? Those devils? Like, what are you talking about, bro?" Like, I don't like subscribe to that shit because I don't believe in like literally like 70% of what they say. I don't believe like.
Yeah, no, but I think especially like in the last like 3 years, that a lot of people lost distrust in the government and what they say, right? So it's like everyone's questioning everything. Like even like this week with all the chemical spills.
Bro, is this what I asked you to pull up?
No, when Elon Musk launched the Tesla into space, like that shit's so fake. And the first thing that Elon Musk said when he had a press conference on it, he said, if it was fake, we would make it look way better. I was like, what the fuck? He literally says that in a press conference. And then there's a video where someone finds a mouse walking on it or some shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, what's going on?
At that point, okay, so this is that Tate talked about that shit where it's like, bro, these people will fool you in such ways, and then like they're pretty much putting it in your face so you know it's fake, so you can't say that like, what's it called, the one where you get rid of the sin by telling people what you're doing to them. We're like, huh? Confession? Kind of like a confession, but like, yeah, something like that where Jermaine was showing it to me, where it's like these people will do shit like, oh, like, of course we didn't create the COVID. If we did, we would have done it like this. And they say some shit like that, and it's like they did do that. That is what they did. Like, you know, look at what OJ did. Well, if I did do it, I would have done it this way. Like that is some like confession shit. Like he's trying to clear his conscience. Like
I don't know. I feel like it's just like government. Like this is what I was saying before. It's like science can tell you anything they want, and you're not able to question it because you don't even fully understand it. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like they can say, well, we're the authority, so we're going to say X is X. So let me give you an example, like a breakdown. If I was to live my life, and 3 times I've been bit by a Rottweiler, but I've never been bit by a pit bull. If I went to a dog park and there was a Rottweiler and a pit bull, which would I rather pet? Like if I had to pet something.
I would say the Rottweiler because you know you're not going to die.
But I'm saying I've been bit by the Rottweiler 3 times.
But the pit bull bite could be poisonous, and that's what they're telling people. They're like avoid those pit bulls because they're poisonous.
So like science would say pit bull's the most aggressive dog, blah blah blah. But it's like if I had only good like 10 times I've seen a pit bull, I've never been bit. I pet them, I play with them, blah blah blah. I've seen a Rottweiler 10 times, I've been bit 3 times. It's like I'm gonna clearly go to the pit bull because it's like comments. Like,
you think that, bro? Okay, let me give you an example where people aren't like that in life. A white person growing up. Not even in a racist household, but just like, you know, their image of black people is that we're kind of violent, kind of aggressive, and they've gone through life in a mostly white town, and they had their regular white bullies who beat them up, took their lunch money, whatever. One day they go into a room and there's a white person and a black person. They're going to be more intimidated by the black person because they have no experience with them and all that shit. And even though they have all the reason to not trust this white person, they've been beat up by white people before, they've been lied to by white people before, they've been mistreated by white people, but that's still, they look at them and they're like, oh, well, I know you.
Well, no,
I know you.
I would definitely argue against that because I think that's wrong. Because I would say that the reason why they're quote unquote afraid of the black people is because of like the media portrayal of what black people are, right?
So no, wait. The media has a part to do with it.
Let me continue. So the reason why they wouldn't be afraid of white people because they got beat up by them and shit is because they had so many other positive experiences with other white people, right? So like all their friends are white, their family's white, so they understand these positives outweigh the negative.
But you're not realizing they have no reason to think.
I'm saying the negative, but the negative for the black people is I've seen them on TV. I've seen they're the ones that are taking up all the jails, blah blah blah. Like all these like messages getting pushed towards like the negativity of a black man. That's all they see for black people. They don't see the positivity of the black man. That's why people always say like black people are gonna just be rappers or ball players because that's all they see that black people are when you don't know black people, right? Yeah. So it's like I can understand, like I'm not saying it's right, but I can understand that you would be more afraid of the black person you don't know rather than the white person you do know, like in the sense that you've seen white people your whole life. It's the same concept of like.
But that's why, bro. That's why people are so afraid to say like, "Oh, flat Earth." That sounds logical because they've seen globes their whole life in every classroom they went into, so it's safe. They're familiar with that.
Yeah, they have
even if they don't understand it, like you said, they don't understand it nothing. But like that is what they know.
But then you also have people that will go to high school or go to university, and then they'll meet the first black guys that they're friends with, and their whole perspective of black change quick. Like it will change way quicker than their opinion on like a white person because they've met 10 black people, all 10 black people were nice to them. The ones on the TV are the ones that are crazy. The ones that are in these prison, like, beyond square straight shit, those are the ones that are crazy. These aren't just the regular black people. The regular black people is like Kevin from my science class. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's like, it's all about the image portrayed. And it's like, when you can put a face behind the name, essentially, and you can say, I can reason with this person because of X, Y, Z, it's like, you would be able to take these 10 good, positive experiences. And then let's say you do have one negative, you'll be like, okay, well, these 10 positives outweigh that one negative. I'm not going to be afraid of black people. But then let's say, like, those same white kids went into that same store that you're talking about, and that black guy walked up and said, yo, run your pockets. From there on, for the rest of his life, he's going to be afraid of black people. Yeah, because that's just one experience with a black person. It was negative, and he's seen all these negative traits on TV.
I just don't know. Like, what does this have to do with Neil Tyson Degrasse being a bitch? Can we get back to the point, bro?
Yeah, so we're gonna have to wrap it up for this episode. But like, nah, bro, I 100% agree. I think a lot of people would rather believe what they hear rather believe than what they see, right? So it's like even the last 2 years, right? Everyone can say like, I've known 1,000 people or 100 people that got the disease, and none of them died. but on TV they're telling me 50,000 people died. So now I have to go get the Fauci juice, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you're believing what you hear rather than what you see. So it's like that's just like what our generation's become, and it's like because of stuff like that. Like when I bring it back, like people will say you're an idiot for thinking that the Earth is flat, but I know that the Earth is round.
Also, just random shit happening too. Like, bro, I liked wearing a mask because I don't want everybody to know who I am everywhere I go. It was actually convenient. It was convenient. Whatever. It was convenient for me. The mask was convenient for me. And then it's crazy. You see some people get worked up and mad at you for the mask, and they're like, you know, all that shit is bullshit, don't you? It's like, oh yeah, it is all bullshit. The mask is just convenient for me, brother. Like, I don't mean to get you worked up. Why is a mask getting you worked up? Like, bro, but they're just worked up about everything.
The mask is a liberal mega hat. All right,
gotta wear both of them together to confuse people.
We had a few questions this week, but we can't get through all of them because we're running late.
All right, let's do the questions. We got to do this. We got to edit out all that other stupid shit.
Nah, I want to keep that, bro. That shit was hilarious. This was a great episode.
Yeah.
So one question we got on Instagram was, what made us start the podcast? Shout out Ezra, by the way.
What made us start the podcast is me and this guy always just argue all the time. Whenever we're around each other, always getting into debates, always arguing about something. And our friends told us probably dozens of times, like, you guys should start a podcast. So we just ran with it and kind of just did an organic podcast like that.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, maybe it rubs off on cameras like the same way that I feel like it does in person. But like me and Jimmy have a very good chemistry in the sense that we can disagree, we can argue all we want, but we understand at the end of the day we are brothers. Like, we're gonna love each other no matter what. So it's like, this is all just for shits and giggles. Like, it doesn't matter how heated the conversation gets. We both understand by the time we walk away from this conversation, we're both going to be laughing about something completely different. Like, you know what I mean?
I thought you were going to say we both understand that Neil Tyson, Degrasse.
But then,
that's enough. I'm not going to talk about him no more.
He also says,
I'm never going to mention him again.
What are your goals? What are your goals for this year with the podcast?
No goals, man. Okay, this is one thing that's big on me in life right now, man. I think we've become a society that's too goal-oriented. Just do what you want to do, bro. Like, why do you need to have a goal for everything? Like, my goal is to be successful with the podcast. Like, I just want us to keep shooting when we say we're going to shoot and stick to what we said we're going to do.
1 year solid, at least, minimum.
Right? Just be consistent. But as far as, like, any achievements that I want the podcast to, no, I don't have that in my head. That type of stuff, you let that type of stuff come when you're doing something that you love to do or that you enjoy doing or that makes sense for you to do or is convenient for you to do, right? It's like, bro, we're just having fun with it, just doing it because we wanted to do it, and all our friends told us we should do it, so we're just doing it. There's no expectations and stuff. That type of stuff ruins shit.
Yeah, and I would say my goal for this podcast is just try to get my my views out there, because I talk to friends and stuff all the time. Everyone says, wow, like, the way you think is just different. It's not that I'm right, not that I'm wrong, but it's different. It's like, and people say, like, you should talk about it more. So I don't know. I was told for a while now that I should be saying my opinions, speaking it out. So I was like, whatever. Jimmy wants to do a podcast. I had a voice to be heard. So we just put it together, like, so yeah.
There we go.
Again, I don't have. I agree with him. I don't have a goal other than stay consistent. Like,
yeah.
We don't need to be making fucking millions from this podcast.
Yeah. When I think of goals, I think of like numbers type shit, where it's just like, yeah, there's no number on where we're trying to get to. It's just whatever happens, you know.
Mm-hmm. And then the rest, like a bunch of the rest of the comments are about Red Ferrari again. So it's like we're not gonna go over that. Go to
Mercedes.
Oh yeah, Mercedes. So if you want to hear that, Jimmy answered the last episode. So just go back to that and stop asking us, because you guys are all flooding that one topic.
You guys should make a GoFundMe and make the GoFundMe. And when the GoFundMe hits 100,000, then I'll put out blue Mercedes. All right.
This fucking guy. All right. So yeah, that's been episode 3. I hope you guys like it. Again, like, comment, subscribe, and also people are asking me, why do we have a Rumble page on our Linktree? And I was trying to explain that. And I said I'll explain on the podcast, but essentially what we're going to try to do is, if we ever do want to talk about like the last 3 years and like the Fauci juice and all that stuff, where we're not allowed to speak about it on YouTube and stuff, we are going to just put it on Rumble. And it's like, it's not a paywall or anything, but on Rumble, like it's the conservative YouTube essentially. So we can just put it there. You don't have to pay for it. It's still free and everything. And so we'll cut it out of these podcasts and just put it there. And like, we can still get our point across. You just won't be on YouTube or on Apple.
That's where we'll bring out the tinfoil hats, buddy.
Yeah, seriously. You want to go deep into conspiracies.
Do a special edition episode.
A full hour of why Jimmy thinks the Earth is flat. All right, guys. So, yeah, it's been TJ, Jimmy, episode 3. We're done. See you.
Yes, I already know.